meeting and tell them that they are
Today has been a fantastic day because we already have a unit that looks considerably stronger and it definitely looks like it's manned for the job. It's not a new engine, it's the thrust vector system, which is obviously to give us more stability whilst vertical. At present, the boys use their feet and their body position whilst flying vertically in a hover position. Now we can automate that system, which will give them much more control stability and also help us to bring landings and takeoffs into the equation.
Come on, he didn't even try. Something's wrong.
This is what R&D is. It's all about testing and developing and seeing what works, what doesn't work.
Actually, the pilot has a joystick in his hand and is able to move like a game. These two servos, which will act like you can see the thing is moving. We are testing the thrust vector, which is the equipment that the pilot uses for now to move left and right. And we are not happy about the final results, so we are refining it.
Our next step is more ground testing, more data analysis. We have to, as always with R&D, test to failure and see what parts work and what don't. This was a 5 or 6 phase plan anyway, and all components need to be tested to their limits.
we keep the communication between us. If there is an engine that shuts down, because that's the most tricky, is that if I'm flying and then suddenly I have an engine shut down, if I'm in the middle it's fine, but if I'm close to the ramp, then it's not the best.
You begin with 2 wheels, and then once you've got the balance, you remove the 2 wheels and you go. And that's the way we want to go. That's what I was saying by keep it simple.
Like if I was removing my left foot from the exhaust, it started to turn right away, even on the platform. So it's no point that we do it again until we have the thrust vector. It's a waste of time right now.
We always train the safest way possible, so having Vince on a tether gives us full control should he get unstable. And the platforms are to control the thrust variation from the height of the runway it's got to occupy.
We are testing the new system, which is the TV, the thrust vectoring nozzle, which will help the pilot to move the wing during the vertical flight, during the takeoff. And for the future takeoff and landing system. We are closer every day.
That's enough. Ah man, it feels good. Big teamwork. You know, we started the test not even a week ago. You know, Thursday last week we did the first test without stabilization. I burned my foot like crazy. And the boys, you know, they mounted a thrust vector that is literally like 2 pieces that it's welded together. It's massive. No, it's big, man. I don't know what to say more.
There's been a lot of work on the engine, on the thrust vector, on the remote as well to control the engines.
We want to have a manual control of the thrust vector. He can't put his hands in the engine exhausts, so he moves a little piece of metal that does it.
This is just some work that's been done. Basically, after every flight, we get some feedback, and then we can know any modification to do and what to go further.
Unfortunately, accidents do occasionally happen, but we have always the emergency action plan in place. At this point, it was due to a shoe failure, which made Vince slip and fall. We went straight into action and recovered him safely with no injuries.
So let's, okay, please everyone, like it's very important that now we all focus good on this, because my safety is depending on this. We forgot to plug my throttle cable when we were up there. I'm pretty good with concentration, but when I put myself, into this, it's like every little thing, are counting. In the air, it was problem yesterday. It's problem on the ground. We're gonna have the same problem then the next day.
So number 2 is having an issue during the startup. It's slow to accelerate, so it's not reaching the stabilized RPM. So there is a timeout for the starting stage. So if the turbine doesn't reach the certain RPM, it shuts down again. So we're gonna have to replace the engine.
We find the solution, so we are happy. Today is great because we are moving from the rope and pulley system to the fall arrestor, which is basically an automatic winch, which will be closer to reality for the pilot.
Right now we feel confident, we've done like a lot of tests on the ground, for the past 2.5 weeks, a lot of tests. And the only problem that we had, they were caused by the cable, like the rope that we had that creates some movement. So as I'm moving, it's like the cable pulls you, so it creates like an effect on the body.
So we've done over 100 ground tests on the cable system for hovering and movement. Now we need to move to the helicopter where we will work out the hover to transition into flight, making sure that we do not lose any altitude with a combination of thrust to lift of the wing in the climb out to safe altitude.
I'm ready, bro. Let's do it Sunday. I feel good, man.
So now the last thing we need is just to know if we will not have any trouble with the water and backwashing that can lead to an engine shutdown.
We are practicing to take off from the ground above the water. So then if there is a problem more on the control, then I finish in the water and not on the ground. It felt good, man. Now let's hope tomorrow there is no wind,
So we're here in the marina at Skydive Dubai, hopefully going to put something into the history books today. Everybody's excited. The guys have been working really hard on the thrust vectors and creating that technology, and hopefully today we will transition from take off into vertical flight and make history. So it's going to be a great day.
We have almost 100 test flights at the moment with the system, everything working flawless. Vince and Fred are super on track. And yeah, the team has just been working night and day for the last 2 months almost for this.
Putain, c'était dingue. C'était dingue. We took off from the ground with the jet wing, and basically we were controlling just the yaw movement, you know, which is the turn, with a joystick. And then after that, you know, we just played a bit above the water, and then when everything was good, then I went into flight and climb into altitude, you know. And it's a big step for us because it's the first time that we are completely autonomous, you know, where we take off from the ground and then we went to altitude, you know, to more than 1,000 meters. I pull a looping and then I open my parachute. So it's big. We are all proud of each other, you know, of the work that we did, of this first dream, this first step of our dream, you know, to take off from the ground, to be completely autonomous. But this is just the beginning, you know. There is much more coming, and we are training on different stuff, projects that you guys will see in the future, and it's gonna be great, no?
Yeah. We're just getting started.
We're just getting started.